Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am building something from an anime that I have never watched nor know nothing about. I get a lot of requests asking me to make various things, and a lot of times they are from shows that I don't watch or things that I know very little about, and this is one of those cases. There's been a couple of people asking me for a while if I would build something from the anime series Bleach, and after doing a Google search, there's this pretty cool mask that one of the characters wears, and I thought, why not make that? So I'm not going to pretend to know how to pronounce it. It's this character. Here's an example of the mask. That's kind of what I'm going for now. I did realize that there are a bunch of different variations to this mask, along with various like add-ons and subtractions from it. So I'm just going to kind of piece it together here and there and maybe even mix it up a little bit, but the base will be there if you're interested in building it yourself. So without further ado, today we are building an anime mask from the show Bleach. Let's get to building. Here we go. Click the description below the video, scroll down to the last link to download this free template, print and cut it out, and now let's trace it onto our materials. I like to use 6mm EVA foam for most bases because it's thick enough to hold its shape with little support and is still flexible enough to heat up and hold a nice curve. The template is only for half of the mask. To get the other half, flip the pattern over and trace it again. Doing it this way will make it easier for you to have a symmetrical end result. All the colored edges and markings are explained on the cover page of my template, so make sure to read it before you throw it away. To help pull the shape together a little better on the curves of the forehead and the jawline, I hit my foam up with some heat from my heat gun. The forehead area, I used a glass dome meant to cover a porch light that never gets covered back, and the jaw I just formed by hand. After laying out my pattern pieces to help with the part orientation, I laid down a layer of contact cement on all the edges, and after a couple of minutes began tacking the pieces together. Follow the registration marks on the pattern to help you align the parts. I like to glue up 1/2 of the mask at a time so that pieces don't sit for too long and I don't have to rush assembly. With the mask base done, it's time to work on his chompers. Like I said in the beginning, I've never watched this anime and was curious what you thought about it. Is it something that I should take the time to watch? From what I can gather, the main character, Ichigo, has different fighting forms he can take on in battle, and the mask I am making is a hollow mask. By taking on this form, he takes in the soul of a hollow, increasing his power, or at least that's what I can understand from what I read. I'm taking some 24mm EVA foam, cutting it into small blocks, then carving the top and the bottom teeth together in this kind of stretched out hexagonal shape. I laid out the basic orientation of the teeth on the mask, put contact cement on both of the pieces, and then stuck them together. Once I had them in place, I drew a line roughly down the center of each tooth and burned them in with a wood burner. I also went in and burned out various ridges on mine to make it look a little more gnarly than the reference images that I saw. Make sure you wear a respirator and work in a well-ventilated area while burning or sanding EVA foam. You don't want to breathe in the fumes or the dust from it. I added these eye inserts into my mask to add a little more dimension on my openings. You could also use these to help glue in lenses of fabric or acrylic to paint or use later if you wanted to. So on some of my reference images, it had like glowing eyes or it had black eyes with glowing yellow. I wasn't really sure, so I just left them out. Two coats of Plasti Dip. Why not white? Because it's evil and the mask didn't need any more help. Now a quick shot of white spray paint to get the base to the right color. Alright, now time to throw down some cool stripy patterns on this mask. I don't exactly know why some of the masks are different colors or have different patterns on them, but I chose to make it a white base with red stripes. I am freehanding the red Plaid Effects acrylic paint on the left side of his mask. I noticed that as I was painting, some of my seam lines separated in the Texas heat while they were drying outside, and I kind of had to figure out a way to hide this, so I'm going to hide it in the weathering steps that are about to come. The weathering starts like I do with most of my builds, a mixture of brown and black acrylic paint watered down and slathered all over the mask. I wipe away a majority of it with a paper towel and slowly build up the layers, repeating the process until I get the dirtiness that I want. Once it was all dirtied, I hid my seams by adding painted cracks all over the surface. I don't know if this is really true to the series, but I thought it was a cool little touch to add those cracks in my actual mask from the seam lines. After I did that, I thought it would also look cool to black outline each of the stripes to clean up my edges. I think it looks pretty cool and makes it look a little more anime-ish. To me, it almost kind of looks like cell shading from like Borderlands series or something, which I really like that aesthetic. And now it's time to figure out a way to strap this monstrous mask to my monstrous head. With some 1-inch elastic banding, 2 small strips of EVA foam, and some super glue, we can get the job done. I sandwich the elastic between the mask and the foam to lock the straps into place and secure it to my noggin. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, I think it turned out pretty cool. I don't really know much about the show, like I said, but I definitely can appreciate awesome art styles and designs and all that stuff, and see that this is a pretty cool one to make. I do want to point out, I probably made my teeth a little bit bigger than they should be. They protrude out just a little bit too much, but other than that, I think it looks pretty cool, so yeah. Maybe you will try and make one of these yourselves and impress your friends with your ability to randomly build something that somebody's suggesting you know absolutely nothing about, but you still do it anyways because you like challenging yourself and making stuff. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some...
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these, tell them, much props. So, just kind of put this thing on and peace out. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and want to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.